Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today's reading is going to be, is there something about this connection that you should know? You have got three choices. You have got the Four of Wands, you have got the two, no sorry, it's not the Four of Wands. Yeah, it is. It's the Four of Clubs, you have got Two of Clubs, and you've got the Six of Hearts. So if you want to take your choice, then we'll get going.
La música de Harry Frog.
Okay, I'm not looking at the cards because this has got a strange feeling as I'm dealing it here. If there's something that you should know about this connection, it feels like there's something to do with automatic responses that you both carry with you from childhood. There's a feeling here with your two cards up at the top where you're pushing, but there's something very mothering, there's something very protective, there's something very caring. Oh, did you hear that? I think it's I don't know what it is. There's something very protective, something very caring about you that both feels as if you need to nurture other people. It feels like you've either been in a position in your family where you may have had to look after somebody else, or you may feel that's part of your position in life. And what you're both doing is you're both entering this relationship as if you should be giving more. And even if one person, one person gives, the other one doesn't, and it's backwards and forwards, and it just feels like in some way you've given yourselves both too much, you're both giving yourselves too much responsibility. And it feels it's almost like a race to give. And you're probably saying here, well, I'm not actually getting something from the other person, but they may be giving in a way that that they deem important. And everybody gives in different ways. You see so many different families, perhaps the way they are with their children. You get the fiery people who've got the kids out at 6 o'clock in the morning and they're surfing on the beach, and then they're doing 6 or 7 different activities in a day, and that's how they give to their kids. And you've got the watery and the earthy people who are there at every performance with bananas and cakes and love, and the air ones that are communicating and debating and giving the children lots of different experiences, perhaps more mental experiences like I don't know, like going to museums and things. But everybody gives in their own way, and this person feels like they've got to give in this particular way, which may be slightly different from you, and there's slight defensive qualities been brought up in this. Defensive qualities here between the pair of you because of this card here. And the thing that you're probably not understanding this relationship is open to anything. It's that you're both coming with different baggages which are very similar. If that makes sense. It feels almost like with this spread here that it's almost like a test of what you can both make in your own reality at this very moment. It's like a fresh start. You may have connections with who you've pulled with you from, whether you believe in past lives or not. But this to me is like you've got the starting or finishing line here, and it feels like you may have finished one race and you've done that bit of karma, if that's what you believe in. And with the shaman card down here in the raw cash test, it's like, what are you going to do with it next? Yeah, what are you going to do with it next? That sounds a bit sassy. It is what you're going to do with it next. And what can you pull out of this that you want? It's like it's open. Do you know, we come into things, don't we, and we think that we've got to be something because we've all got these preconceived ideas of who we should be. And it's awful. It's absolutely awful. I do it. And sometimes I'm like going into a situation, I'm thinking, I've just pretended to be somebody I'm not because I thought it fit in with the situation or with that person. And it's disgusting. So we need to stop that. And this is what this relationship feels like that you may not be understanding here. There's just an ability to connect and get on and see where it goes from there. It's almost like if you've got any hang-ups, don't bring it into this one. Even if it's from this relationship. It's like wipe the slate clean. Your person has that feeling that, and I don't know whether, you know, sometimes we talk about relationships with hooks. With the little turtle with the eggs in its belly and the Mars card here, your person has a feeling that they may possibly feel it, that's part of their identity to protect or to nurture. And this could, you know, they may not have had, excuse me, they may not have been put into that role in a family situation, but they may have been somehow, what's the word when you're, there's something niggling inside them where they may not have done that properly. And it can just take one incident that we can carry through with us. And this is like saying wipe it clear. For instance, like, let's just say, if you believe in past lives, in a past life that your person didn't pick somebody up on time and something else happened to this child or this other partner that was quite vulnerable, that may be something that they feel like they've always got to do it. They've always got to do everything correctly, because Mars is very forceful and this card here is very stable and protective. So it feels like this person's identity is around protecting and caring. You're coming across with a very similar nature, because you've got what feels with the Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands is normally like, to me, it always feels like spiritual heaviness. It's like you bind things to you, and oftentimes you see, you know, with like sticks bound to a bat, you feel like you should be more, and then you've got a very caring moon here, so you both feel like you should be caring for each other. And in some ways this spread down here with the way that you've got the winning and the very sort of mental approach to it with the Star and the King of Swords here, that it's almost like you should use your intellect to say, done it, let's start fresh, and care in a way that doesn't feel so incessant. Is that the word? It's just connect and enjoy this one. It's connect and enjoy, and don't feel need to be this or to do that. So the thing, I mean, you probably know bits and bobs about your own self or your own relationship with regards to them. And this could come out in many different ways. If you think that your partner is quite a caring partner and quite steady, if you push them to be more of that, depending on the rest of perhaps their personality, they may actually run away because they feel that they can't quite do it and can't quite measure up to it. So let's just say you've got somebody who's quite kind and gentle and oftentimes pays your attention and is there and can be relied upon in some way, he's quite caring, and you like that. Maybe you've got Cancer in you with, you know, that's the type of thing you're attached to, and it's nice. If you push that too much, this person may actually, because there's some sort of, could have a fear response over it, I suppose. Because this person, and this is like saying it's got to stop. This is like saying is to, you know, to discuss it, to talk about it with the Star and the King of Swords here. And it's like you've got to the end of that line with that card here and it's all open. But there's something about a spiritual connection here too that feels like you've been brought together in this life to start afresh. You may have got a history, but it's almost a case of not replaying the same karma. And if you're carrying that karmic feeling around in yourself, which is really weird, and don't put much into my readings anymore, like little thoughts and anecdotes. But I remember a couple of years back, about 10 years, I used to, I'm not going to say take drugs, but I used to insert so many things into my body that to see what they felt like. And most of these products were natural. And now I'm going to sound silly. What I'm trying to say, that you can do certain things that I think almost feel like, you know, where is your karma stored? And it almost feels like it can bring it to the surface. And whether you two have been holding on to that for too long, and you've played this part in many lifetimes. I'm thinking of karma, to be honest, because of these cards here at the end, and the fact that you're coming across so similar here, and with the finishing line here. So if you're carrying around who you should be, what you should be doing and how you should be acting through lifetime and lifetime together. This is like, you know, it's like break the circuit one, which is nice because it feels fresh, because you've got 2 cards down here which are really hopeful, and one that's very sort of analytical to understand what you're doing, which is probably you if you're watching tarot reading in the first place. But you can help. What you're not understanding about this relationship is that you can both help each other not feel that you need to be needy or that you always need to be. It's almost like a release. And as I'm saying this, you know, I can feel what this feels like. And when you get into relationships and you have, and there was always an old program which I forced my sisters to buy. It's a film with Daniel Craig called The Mother. They won't watch it. It's basically, it's like a 60 or 70 year old woman. I wonder why I'm watching this now. And he falls in love with Daniel Craig, who's very young in his career. So he's like, I don't know, 20, and his he's a painter, I think, in the house. Anyway, yeah, it is what it is. And he's turns around to her and says that it's strange that so many, he's talking about men and women, but you know, it doesn't really matter what the sex or what the relationship. He says that so many people just don't let people be themselves. And I think we get into relationships and we almost become a different part of ourselves and put expectations on the particular person that we don't even know we're doing it. It's like comfort. It's like, you be more like me and then I will both be happy. You be more like me, please don't be jarring, you know, please be this. And you've ended up both being each other, so you've probably been drawn to each other because you're very similar. But this is a time now, and what you're probably not understanding is you've done it. It's like, you know, round of applause. It's, you know, you've both come through this probably attaching very well, being very content with each other and having a very, what I would say, like an established relationship. But this one is sort of saying it's time to let go, kitty. It does feel like that. Right, I'm going to stop there, pile number. I actually did that tarot reading with my eyes shut. I looked in at the beginning and then I couldn't because there's too much to take in and ideas. So it's like just connect and move. It's like things are balanced now, so you can just keep moving with it. This is almost like free up your energy, lighten up, and just, you know, just enjoy each other and make new plans, make advances. Don't stay in the same situation. It's like a, you know, when you've been asleep and you have that cold, when you've been had an afternoon nap and you go and wash your face because you can't carry on the day feeling like you do. It feels like that. It feels like a really cold face wash, and that's what you need. Okay, I'm going to leave you there, pile number 1. Thank you for joining me. Please remember, if you haven't subscribed, please do, because I think so many people on YouTube feel like we are, and I said this probably about a year or 2 ago when I was about to give up, feel like we're talking to walls a lot of the time. And if you do leave comments, thank you very much. You know, it's really nice for me to read them. So thank you. Please subscribe, and if you want to, consider looking at the Patreon. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. Is there something about this connection that you should know? There's a there's a feeling here that there's a strange feeling between the pair of you that you're both very similar but totally different. There's a feeling here that there's a mixture of what I would guess is stability and wildness in the pair of you, which on the surface looks like you're vibrating to the same sort of hum, the same tune, but there's something very different about the pair of you, and I'm not quite sure what it is yet, as in individually. I don't think you're with this person at the moment. I think there's, and this has got something to do with it, something, you've been drawn to somebody who feels the same. And then when you've got closer, you've found there's some sort of discrepancies, there's differences between the pair of you that may have caused some split or some heartache, and you're still trying to understand what's going on, I guess. Okay. what it feels like is that both of you, let's just imagine, let's just play magical games for the moment, because I can't think of other ways to interpret this, and I'm trying not to look at the cards because I've seen them, but I'm thinking, let's just imagine that you are born into soul groups. Let's just say that, so that you're born like little frog spawn, and your frog spawn basically come to a soul group because of the vibration of that pond. Let's say somebody's got a tuning fork by it, and so that particular pond vibrates, and so your little souls are like swimming towards each other, and they're all you both are in the same pond, and it just feels fantastic because part of it's really stable and part of it's a little bit wild. And so you split from your pond later on, you go in different directions, and you have lots of different experiences, still having what I said, I know I didn't say this at the beginning, a similar vibration. And then you come back together with these experiences that are so different, but you've still got a similar vibration. So what you probably don't realize about this relationship is that there's such a similarity about the pair of you, but there's also got a whole myriad of different experiences that are somehow difficult to integrate and that may have jarred at some time period in your relationship. And that may be why you're not together at the moment. Because there's a feeling here of two people that are quite passionate with the way that they see life, two people that are probably quite warm, but there's also a feeling here that there's something that keeps repeating itself that's quite jarring. And I'm wondering whether the lesson in this is to be able to discuss it, to be able to discuss your differences in some way, but without going into too much detail, because there's also a feeling here of accepting things just as they are. I wonder whether you have got a very stable nature deep down. You quite like stability. You may like things to be quite secure at home life, but there's something about you that likes to shock, or something about you that likes to push the limit, or something about you that likes to rock the boat, at least. Your person's coming across in a different energy, but similar. They're coming across as being quite with an eye for beauty. And I don't just mean people that look good, but things around them that feel good and feel smooth, and probably very diplomatic and very smooth. But they may have, I'm going to say anger issues, but that's extreme. I'm thinking more they've got a nature that may have like an Aries moon, or that likes to push, or likes to fight, or likes to challenge. So the energies there are similar. Yours is probably a little bit wild and rebellious, but still security. They like to have things quite smooth, but they've still got fight there. So this is why you think you're very similar. But when you actually get together, those two things will kick off. Let's just say, I'm going to make this up to basically try and give you an idea here. Let's just say this person works in social services. And they use their aggression in their nature to get things done. They see people that need help, and they want life to be smooth for these people. They want people to feel comfortable, so they push, and they don't mind rattling people's cages to get what they want, because they see it as a bigger service in some way. Let's just say here that you're quite stable. So this person attaches to you, but then you rebel against something that they might hold quite important, and they quite close to them and think that's important. For instance, marriage, because you've got Uranus here and you've got it with the Queen of Pentacles, so you may like close connections, but you may not be bothered about getting married, and this person may be. And oftentimes I find Aries, for their wildness and for their ability, they do like to be married. It's just different people have different ways of connecting, and they don't. That's my experience of people with strong Aries in. You keep thinking they don't want to be tied down, but they enjoy being married. I don't know if that's I don't know in great detail how things have gone since they all got married, but Uranus would not, Aquarius not really that bothered about getting married. So that's just an example there of the way that you both feel the same, and the thing that you don't understand, there are still differences there. which hurts. I think this relationship hurts quite a bit. It feels like you can't get to this person, or this person always lets you down, or you feel that they let you down, but you've got connections here that you're meant to be together. This is difficult. So I'm looking at, I'm assuming that it's acceptance. I'm assuming that what you don't understand about this relationship is that you're very similar but not, and it's got something to do with accepting both ways the other person as they are, and being very clear about your likes, and that you don't have to always be the same. And I think in relationships people do try to make people like them because it makes them feel secure. Let's just say that you have this energy that you like a stable relationship, but you're not that bothered about getting married. Let's just say that, and your person likes to be in love, but has quite an antagonistic nature. It's almost like you have to let the things that you don't agree on slide in this relationship. It feels like the connection has got something to do with accepting the person exactly as they are, because they're coming with that different history. You're both the same, but you're coming with experiences that are totally different, that are really going to be impossible to integrate totally. And this has got a feeling here with the Soul Tribe and the Queen of Wands of looking above that, of realising there's more to it than having to have somebody fit into our lives exactly. And you see this as well. You don't always see it, but you can see this as well. They also talk about like souls from different trees, and you've got somebody on the same branch as you, and you're both very similar. Then you get somebody who's on the same tree as you, but a totally different branch. And the rub is where you learn. You're close enough in vibration to be pulled together, but there's still, you're from a different branch after all, so there's still going to be a rub there, but there's more lessons to be learned in this. There's more clarity to be understood from the relationship, and there's more strength with these Wands cards here, with the Queen of Wands and the King of Wands there. So what to sum this up, pile number 2, what you probably aren't understanding about this relationship, is that the title? What was the title? It says something about this connection that you should know, is that the rub is part of the relationship, because this feels like it hurts, but it's not saying put up with bad behavior, but it's just almost know what's important, know that you can't have somebody exactly like you. When couples get together and they do everything together, and it suits some, this may not be for you. It feels like you have to sort of rise above that and not try and make somebody you. And the same for your person as well. That one's difficult to explain without it sounding insulting, and I always feel like I insult people, but before I go, yeah, I can't think really. But let's just say that your partner loves football or loves hockey or whatever, or likes certain films, and you're not that bothered. It's almost like give up trying to get you to do that or to go and watch these things with them. It's almost like just be separate and still know that there's a connection there between you. It doesn't actually make that less. That's not a good example. But anyway, pile number 2, I'm going to leave you there. So to sum that up, is there something about this connection that you should know? Is that you don't have to be similar, because you're similar enough anyway. It's just that you're both coming from different ends of the stick. Right, bye-bye. Oh, before I go, please, if you haven't subscribed, please do, because it helps a lot. And if you fancy checking out Patreon, please do that too. Bye. Okay, pile number 3. This feels like a wake-up call to love. This has got a feeling of somebody having a big impact on you. This has got a feeling of it shaking up the way that you see yourself, the way that you see life, the way that you see love, the way that you see relationships. It's got a very sort of strong psychic link here. in the last spread, it felt like a karmic relationship where the people were actually, the first two spreads, this feels like somebody who's been heaven sent, or whatever you want, to shake you up. This is a feeling of somebody who you dream about. There's a feeling, this is a feeling of somebody who you can't quite explain the connection to. And it feels quite heavy. This may even be a relationship that's out of bounds in some way. And you may have got stayed or steady in a particular situation, whether it's a work situation or the relationship, and this person turns up unexpected and it shakes you to your core. You've got at the top the High Priestess and the Pluto for them. So that's internal, and that feels like it's life-changing. It feels like it comes with heavy lessons. You're coming across as Juno and the Tower. So that's something that changes you, that's got to do with connections. And I think this person comes into your life. The Six of Hearts there may be some feeling of a past connection, but it feels as if their main job in this life is for you to feel what it's like to love when you may have given up. And there's just, I haven't looked at these cards properly at the moment. I'm still got my eyes shut, to be honest. I'm just looking at these ones. I'm not saying that this person, I don't know, because I haven't really looked at those rest of the cards. You're meant to be with this person forever and ever. It feels like one of those spreads that you get, one of those feelings that you get when you've forgotten what it's like to fall in love. And when we fall in love, it just brings out the best of ourselves. I mean, we can go over the top or we can get silly with it, but we can just remember who we are and what we're meant to be doing here. And, you know, falling in love makes us do that. And we can get silly with it. We want to be with the other person, you know, want to be, not with just with them, but we want to be part of them. But what this person's trying to do is realize that you just need to be part of yourself and to just be love. That sounds really corny, but just to be love. It's like this person comes into your life to reveal the truth to you in some way. It's got to do with the truth of connections, and connections that are long-lasting. And it could be long-lasting with regards to this present lifetime. It could be like somebody with what feels like with these two together, with the truth and the Ten of Cups. It could be like what I'm interpreting in my head as a Moon South Node contact, where this person has loved you before maybe, or made you feel comfortable. So into this lifetime they come, and then there they are, and everything inside you explodes when you may have just been running around like, I was going to say, a hamster in a tube. You know, going to work, coming back, head down, and then sometimes people come into our life and we make us see ourselves and we see our life with totally different lenses. This is what this person's job is, to make you do that. That may be what you're not realizing about this connection. And what's going on below the surface very possibly are these two cards here. And these are cards of anxiety. So if you can't be with this person because you may be in a different relationship, or if there's some sort of anxiety about the way that you show yourself show who you are in love relationships. You know, some people just aren't comfortable with it at all. Some people feel that lots of different feels. Some people just feel, I mean, there's the first feeling that came to mind, that you may not be comfortable, and I'm really careful. Actually, no, I'm not really careful because I'm not very good at it with regards to sex. You may not be comfortable in your body. And I don't mean sex, I mean sex as in that gender sex. Yeah, I know I'm on dodgy ground, and I don't want to stay too long in case I get told off. But there's a feeling here that if you're female, you may feel quite masculine, or if you're male, you may feel quite feminine. in some way, and it may be difficult for you to translate the roles in some way. I'm going to leave that to you, but there is that feeling here because there's some sort of heaviness, there's something, and you've got a love relationship here that's quite shocking. So there may be something with that, or it just may be that feeling of being able to actually receive love. Now, this may be somebody that I'm going to say you've dreamt about. You know when you dream about somebody and then they turn up and there's that strange feeling. This has got this feeling of it, but maybe that's why, you know, you could have, because of these cards here, it makes me think that it's heightened. And the anxiety with it is heightened because the expectation is bigger. When you meet somebody that you feel is the right person, or somebody that takes you from one lifestyle to the next lifestyle in your mind, it's like you're expecting to project the next chapter of your life with this person in it, you know, in your mind. But this here is sort of saying that the main reason that this person is in your life that you may not know at the moment is for you to be at ease, just letting love flow through you. To express it and to not think about it and to not expect anything back. And that's just part of you. You know, this is like, cause you've got the High Priestess here with Pluto. There's got to be more behind it than snogging behind the bike sheds. There's something deeper and something more spiritual, I guess, with the High Priestess and Pluto here. And it's a tough lesson. And you've got anxiety here. And then you've got the Tower for you here. With a connect. So the need to connect is there, but there's anxiety with it. So I'm trying to translate it with things that are coming into my head with regards to just being able to love, or not feeling comfortable in your body, or not feeling that you're good enough. And this person's almost like, it may feel quite hard actually with Pluto there, because it feels almost, you know, like when you're apple bobbing and somebody sticks your head under the water. And hold it there, you know, like your cousins, and it feels like you can't breathe for a bit and there's panic setting in. So this person, I guess, has had a big effect on you, and that's part of the process of you learning to accept it. You've got a few cards here that make me say too, that with regards to coping with this situation, and I don't know if coping is the right word here, but connecting probably, is to do it in small doses. Because it's like there's a feeling here that you may need to retract to sort yourself out, to recalibrate, and then come back again, because there's growth in this relationship. Big growth in this relationship, which may not feel easy at the moment, because you're coming out as a Knight of Cups at the end here, which to me is romance. The Knight of Cups, the first word that comes to mind is romance a lot of the time, because it's forward moving and it's emotional, and it just feels like somebody who wants you. This person, if they had to write a note of why they're with you now, it would be for you to open up to your love nature, I guess. And maybe that's what you're not seeing in the relationship, because it feels as if it could be quite hard. It feels as if you've been thrown into maybe possibly a feeling of this is tougher than I thought it would be, and into anxiety. And this could be to do with self-worth. This could be to do with identity. This could be to do with could it be lack of practice? Or it could be circumstances with regards to, because you've got the Tower here, somebody else being in your life that feels it's difficult. Okay, seagulls. And sometimes these people, I don't know whether they're meant to stay in our life or whether they're not, but sometimes they come into your life to wake you up, to remember who you are. And life isn't all making tea and hoovering. Life is not all that. You've got to remember who you are, and that, you know, we are here for such a short time, and you may as well bring out the true beauty of you while you're here and let that flow. And this person. There's a timing factor in here that's not what I just said. The timing factor is for you to release it in increments. even if it's not with this person. The only reason I'm saying this because the Pluto card makes me think of, especially with you, the Tower, that it's not easy. So I'm just thinking if this person is distant from you, but you're already in a relationship, or you can't be together, or there's something else outside this relationship, it's for you to be who you are in increments. So it's not like full on and straight in, and you actually just almost like layer yourself into being who you're meant to be. So I'm going to finish there, pile number 1. Something you don't know about this relationship, to me, feels like it's a lesson, and it's a lesson for you to be more of who you are, regardless of what the other person's doing, because these could be hard lessons. And I'm definitely not saying take anything from anybody. It's for you to know that it's opening you up to your, this sounds really corny, I'm so sorry, but it's opening you up to your love nature. To be more, to be softer, to be kinder, to be more accepting in yourself, to be aware that what you've got to give may be exactly what somebody wants. It's not to judge yourself. Let somebody else do that. And if what's my favourite phrase? I said it to my husband. They judged me, and I was found wanting, and he burst out laughing. You know, if you or they are found wanting, who cares? Who cares? I'm going to leave you there. Thank you very much. Pile number 3. Bye. Oh, before I go, I keep forgetting. Please subscribe if you haven't, because you do honestly feel doing tarot readings that you are. I mean, a lot of people comment, and I love it, but you do honestly sometimes feel that you are talking to the wall, and I haven't said that for a long time. Thank you to everybody who's commented, and if you fancy looking at Patreon, please do that as well. Bye.